Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our MISAT Bulletin, and we shall start with our headlines. Agreement reached to evacuate rebels from Syria's Homs. Turkey formally protests minister's treatment in Netherlands. And moving on to our details, starting with the Syrian profile. The governor of the central Syrian province of Homs says an agreement has been reached to evacuate the remaining opposition fighters from the last rebel-held neighborhood in the city. Talal Barazi said that the implementation of the agreement that was sponsored by Russia will be carried out within 6 to 8 weeks. He also said fighters who decide to stay in Homs can benefit from a government amnesty issued earlier. Moreover, Al-Barazi said the evacuation will be the third phase of an agreement reached last year that saw hundreds of fighters and their families leave the area. On to Turkey, Netherlands standoff. Turkey's foreign ministry on Monday summoned a Dutch diplomat to formally protest the treatment of a Turkish minister in the Netherlands over the weekend, and what it said was a disproportionate use of force against demonstrators in an ensuing protest. The Dutch embassy's charge d'affaires was called to the foreign ministry, where a senior official handed him 2 formal protest notes, according to what the ministry said. From another aspect, it was the third time that the Dutch diplomat has been summoned since tensions broke out between the two countries after 2 ministers were prevented from campaigning in the Netherlands. In Kabul, security forces stormed the Taliban-run prison in southern Helmand province, freeing 32 Afghans held inside. The military spokesman in Helmand said 4 members of the Afghan security forces were among those rescued. He also said the raid took place on Sunday night in Nadali district, where the captives were held at a Taliban hideout. The spokesman added that all of those rescued will be taken to Shurab camp, the main Afghan army base in Helmand, from where they will be handed over to tribal elders. And going to Africa, a suicide car bomber detonated near a hotel in Somalia's capital on Monday morning, killing at least 6 people and injuring 4 others. Police officials said the bomber detonated near the Wahliya Hotel on the busy Mecca al-Mukarrama road. In a separate blast on Monday morning, a suicide bomber detonated a minibus laden with explosives at the gate of a military camp south of the capital. The bomber was killed and 2 people were wounded, according to military officials, but there was no immediate claim of responsibility for both blasts. From another perspective, Somalia's new prime minister condemned the 2 attacks, saying they were carried out by bloodthirsty groups. In Addis Ababa, the death toll has reached 50 from the collapse of a mountain of trash at a massive garbage dump on the outskirts of Ethiopia's capital. It was not clear what caused Saturday night's collapse, though residents have said the dumping of trash had resumed there in recent months after protests at a newer landfill site. Many of the mud and stick houses were buried under the rubble, and about 54 people so far have received medical treatment, according to medical officials. As hundreds of waste pickers work at the landfill every day and others find cheap housing there, Addis Ababa's mayor vowed to relocate them. On the other side of the world, Scotland's leader on Monday said that she would seek authority for a new independence referendum because Britain is dragging Scotland out of the European Union against its will. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon said that she would move quickly to give Scottish voters a chance to make Scotland an independent country. Sturgeon said the referendum should be held between the fall of 2018 and the spring of 2019. She said by then details of Britain's post-Brexit deal with the EU would be clear and Scottish voters would be able to make an informed choice. Meanwhile, the British government must agree before a legally binding referendum can be held. On to Budapest, Hungary's president has been re-elected by lawmakers for a 5-year term in the second round of voting in parliament. János Áder, nominated by Prime Minister Viktor Orban's governing Fidesz party on Monday, defeated László Mitiani and won 131 votes to 39 with 29 abstentions. The 57-year-old Adder is a former parliamentary speaker and member of the European Parliament. Noteworthy that Hungary's basic law, as the constitution is called, allows the president a mostly ceremonial post meant to embody national unity to serve for a maximum of 2 terms. And finally, economic news. European stock markets eked out some modest gains on Monday after a strong U.S. jobs report helped Wall Street end last week on a high note. In Europe, Germany's DAX rose 0.2% to 11,985, while the CAC 40 in France added 0.2% to 5,002. Britain's FTSE 100 was up 0.3% to 7,362. U.S. stocks were poised for a steady open with Dow futures and the broader S&P 500 futures both up 0.1%. Moreover, Japan's Nikkei 225 stock index rose 0.2% to 19,633.75, and the Shanghai Composite Index climbed 0.8% to 3,237.02. And before ending our news, let's take another look at the most important headlines for today. Agreement reached to evacuate rebels from Syria's Homs. Turkey formally protests minister's treatment in Netherlands. And we reached the end of our Newslight Bulletin for today. Thank you for joining us and see you tomorrow in a new bulletin.